The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Haan. And now, here's Nico de Haan.
Hi folks, welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm your host, Nico de Haan, and it's Friday, June 8th, 2012. Time to talk about your health, fitness, and diet. My call-in number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the show. Our international number is 727-445-1044. Also, my Health Signals newsletter, issue 11, is out, and you get it by signing up for it for 30 days free. Then it's only $10 a month for 2 issues a month. You receive those issues on the first and third Friday of each and every month. You can contact me by email. Address is nico@tfnn.com if you have any questions or comments. And I hope everybody's doing great in the chat room, streaming live on the internet, on Tiger TV, and on the radio. It's partly cloudy here, 81 degrees in downtown Clearwater, Florida. It's a beautiful day, folks. Good to be alive and well in the United States of America, that's for sure. Last night I did a lecture over at Nature's Food Patch here in Clearwater, Florida, and very successful. We had about 25 people. It was kind of rainy and stuff. I didn't expect a big crowd, but 25 is almost full. I think last time we had like 33. So that was really, really good. We talked a lot about, I'll share a few things with you that we did talk about. And basically, I went through kind of the history of how our food has changed. And if we kind of go back to where it all started from, we were pretty much hunter and gatherers all over the world. And about 10,000 years ago, in certain parts of the Middle East, people started farming on a different type of scale than they've ever done before. Before, people were planting a little vegetable here and there, but then they started really, instead of planting seeds to get the plants, somebody came along with a bright idea. Hey, these seeds are edible if you cook them and if you mash them up and make things out of them. These things are edible. And besides, we can carry them along, so it's be very handy. So when they discovered that, they started planting the beans and the grains, and started really using them more and more as history went on. So that was about 10,000 years ago. They changed that to about 2,000 years ago, and the transition into Europe really started. This was the time of the Romans, of course, and the Romans were spreading through to European areas, and slowly but surely they started converting people with this new technology of planting seeds. And so our food started changing. Now, one thing that did happen, during the time that transitions were being made, scientists, anthropologists now think there was a huge die-off of a certain percentage of different populations at different areas because of the problems with grains. Some people have an immense problem with them. Some of the people didn't have as much problems with them. At least they didn't show up right away. The next change was about 500 years ago, and this is where Europe is getting very crowded. But lo and behold, they discovered the New World, and people started coming over here. And of course, over here, people were hunter and gatherers. In Europe, things were crowded. There was a lot of disease. People were in very close quarters, and they were running out of food. They were running out of fish in a lot of these rivers in Europe, and the newfound land was going to save humanity. So when we started in the United States, of course, the American Indians, the Pueblo Indians, the South American native people, all were hunter and gatherers, pretty much. There was a little bit of some type of farming going on, but not on a large scale at all. Very, very small scale. So the next step was about 150 years ago when things started getting mechanized. So the whole Industrial Revolution started coming about, and we started farming with plows. We started using more mechanized materials to get these crops in, and lo and behold, we started getting larger companies involved. People with money said, hey, this is a great way to make money, so let's do it. So instead of doing it from your local farmer, you started seeing things appear at your local retailer that was, the same type of product but a little bit different. The biggest change, I think, was really about 50 years ago, and this is when the whole idea of changing the food, and I'll read you a couple of things. First of all, this is a quote from Weston Price. Humans achieve optimal physical form and health generation after generation only when they consume nutrient-dense whole foods and the vital fat-soluble activators such as vitamin A and D found exclusively in animal food. Now, this is a quote by a famous nutritional scientist, and he renames nameless basically because he was working for the FDA and didn't want to be. He didn't want this going out. There's no doubt that although fats are blamed for most diseases today, there is much compelling evidence that carbohydrates are the real culprit. And the fact that simple carbohydrates, sugar, and non-starches like that have fiber have both been shown to be harmful in terms of increasing cancer risks. And that's all carbohydrates, including starches, have been shown to increase the risk of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, and is already sufficient. It's already sufficient reason to eat foods such as bread, starches with care. So don't eat too much of them. By Dr. Gortmaker, the food industry's major objective is to get us to intake more food. And the TV industry's objective is to get us to watch more TV, to be sedentary. Advertising is the action that keeps both of them successful. So you've got two huge industries being successful at what they were supposed to do, creating more intake and less activity. And since larger people require more food energy just to sustain themselves, the food industry is growing at a larger market for itself. And the last quote I'll give you is from Professor Yudkin, John Yudkin. And he says, fat is the most valuable food known to man. Of course, we have these industries, the food industry and the television industry, but we also have another industry, which is really the news organization industry, which is, I guess we're kind of a part of that thing. But the news industry in America, the real big networks, the 6 networks, really are owned by the entertainment industry. So the entertainment industry is giving us the news, and the companies that are advertising on the TV, of course, are determining what the news companies can say. So you kind of get the point what's going on there. So this is really what's happening in the United States, and this is what we have is food from these people who are trying to make money off of us. Have nothing to do with getting us well. In fact, I think the opposite is holding true, is that we're getting sicker and sicker, and that's a great boon for the other big industry that's involved in this. And of course, that's the whole healthcare insurance industries. So we have the government, we have the TV industry, we have the entertainment industry, we have the doctor organizations, we have the dietetic industry organizations that are all telling us what to do. In fact, one of the things that Nature's Food Patch got a letter, and I may have mentioned this once before, but they got a letter saying, and this is from the American Dietetic Association, and they say basically that be sure to tell your speakers there that if they're not a nutritionist or a dietitian, that they can't tell people what to eat. And they can't prescribe anything. They can't suggest this is what you're supposed to be eating. Not only that, if you are a dietitian or a nutritionist, now you must conform to what the American Dietetic Association says is good for us. Of course, their biggest contributors, if you remember last week, I was talking about these big companies with these huge revenue streams are advertising and giving money to these organizations. So you can see the effect that this is having. So, although we have new information like the Primal type style diet and all this information about fats, it's not really getting through to the majority of the population who's watching TV, which, TV can be a great information stream. It's unfortunate that we don't use it as that. It's not an education tool anymore. It's merely a way to produce commercials to get us to buy certain things. So in 1969, the so-called White House Conference produced the New Foods document, which heavily promoted the acceptance of fake engineered food as if they were real food. This fact alone has directly resulted in the major decline in the quality of our foods and especially in the quality of the fats we consume. It has led to the open promotion of genetically modified foods that suit the production of processed fats, and also led to the decline in quality and use of farm-produced fats. The results have been nothing but disastrous. The media is also responsible for the obesity and diabetes epidemic in a big way. How many times have we not seen published the pearls of wisdom of self-appointed dietary expert that there is no long-term guarantee for the safety of low-carb diets? I am sure we all at some point have heard such mindless babblings. I didn't quite get that. It is a hard fact that that even before the dawn of civilization, man has been evolving, thriving, and surviving on a low-carb or controlled carb dietary regime. Those people who do not follow such a dietary regime out of choice, the simple fact was, of course, that in those days no processed, sugar-laden, starchy junk foods were available anywhere. They simply consumed what nature provided, and they knew what was good for them. That's a rock-solid scientific fact, carefully recorded in anthropological journals and papers and observed by some of the greatest scientific minds in the history of anthropology, a few of which are mentioned. I mentioned here. And it goes on to really talk about the ancient peoples, the Egyptians and the Greeks, and how they ate. I'm not going to read all that. Also, people from Australia, this famous explorer, is telling us what the people there ate. And basically, most of the things, and the same goes true with the North American Indians, we were living on buffalo meat, pretty much a high-fat diet. And so it's kind of clear that the anthropology record has substantiated many, many times over that a high-fat diet is what we grew up on as human beings for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Last 50 years or so, not so much. And now we really are seeing what the problem is. We're seeing all kinds of brain problems, Alzheimer's, dementia. We see all kinds of problems with children learning in school. Children can't pay attention. There's so many things that are affected by this. It's just mind-boggling that it's not in the mainstream as it should be. Folks, you can read a lot of this material in my Health Signals newsletter, so I invite you to go to the Health Signals or to the TFNN.com site, look under the newsletters, and pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Remember, you can try it free for 30 days, and then it's only $10 a month. It's a bargain, value for value here. You get a lot of information. Of course, you can cancel at any time. I'll be back in a few minutes, folks. The number here is 877-927-6648, and we have open lines.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Stock market corrections are the number one reason that a buy and hold investment strategy produces the poorest results, and I have 73 years of data that proves it. Now, the good thing about economic difficult times is that the worst economy can produce the best rewards in the shortest period of time. In fact, during the last 130 years, 61% of that time period has been spent in recession. And if you're one of the 70% of American households relying on their 401ks and IRAs for retirement, you need the single strategy that is bulletproof against the turmoil of our stock markets. Go to the homepage at TFNN.com. Under Breaking News, click on Success is a Numbers Game to receive this must-have free report. This bulletproof strategy may be days away from giving the next signal. Don't neglect your retirement, and don't neglect this signal. If you're even a little bit interested in accumulating wealth, providing a better life for you and your family, then go to TFNN.com to order your free copy of Success is a Numbers Game today. Implement the disciplines contained in this report, and success will be yours for the taking.
Kate Stalter's exciting newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, has just launched, and now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial. Every Wednesday afternoon, Kate sends out her weekly newsletter to her subscribers where she focuses on small cap stocks with market caps under $2 billion, as well as low-priced equities with share prices ranging from $5 to $12. Kate tracks a variety of stocks with a combination of strong technical support and solid fundamentals. Many of the stocks featured will be recent IPOs. These newer issues are often some of the biggest price gainers in the market and provide an excellent opportunity for substantial gains if timed correctly. You can catch Kate Stalter live on Tiger TV with her Small Cap Roundup every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and visit TFNN.com right now to get your 2-week free trial to her brand new newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, while locking in the low introductory monthly rate of only $37.50 per month, almost a 50% discount. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and it's Friday, TGIF. It's great to be alive here in Florida, in the United States, North America. It's a beautiful thing, I'll tell you. This is a message from one of our listeners, and it says, years ago, prior to discovering the primal diet, I was a vegetarian. I ate lots of salads, grains, legumes, and soy products. As time went on, I began to question all the foods I was eating. I knew intuitively a frozen soy burger with a bunch of ingredients couldn't be healthier than a piece of wild salmon or even a steak. Mostly I couldn't shake the feeling that in my efforts to not hurt animals, I was actually hurting myself. I was ready for a paradigm shift. I will never forget the first meat dish I had after years of going without. I was in Key West, a hurricane was heading our way, and I was brimming with excitement about becoming a meat eater again. I ordered a salad with grilled chicken in a typical American fashion. It was gigantic. I ate every last bite. The next day I had a shrimp omelet. Sausage made an appearance shortly thereafter. Even former vegetarian I've talked about has every former vegetarian I've talked to has a sausage story. For me, it's bacon, actually. But people have asked me if I noticed the difference when I started eating meat again. More energy? No. Weight loss? No. An effigy of some kind? No, not really. It tasted good, but other than that, nothing earth-shattering happened. I'll admit I was a little disappointed. But the story doesn't end there. As the years progressed, my nutrition education continued through trial and error, listening to your show, numerous books like The Paleo Diet, Good Calories, Bad Calories, and Protein Powder. I decided to make the big change. I gave up grains and starches. I dove in headfirst to the paleo program. That's when things changed. It was kind of magic. I experienced a surge of energy and leaned out, which is amazing when you consider how many years of conscientious eating and exercising I had under my belt. I thought I knew a thing or two about eating healthy, but really I was just going with the flow of conventional wisdom. I realized that my past efforts had kept me from treading water, whereas shifting to the primal or paleo diet allowed me to move forward and make improvements. I learned that the ubiquitous advice to eat plenty of whole grains is recycled rhetoric. Like many of my fellow primal eaters and low-carbers, I understood that all those years of diligent eating whole grains and pastas had led me down the wrong path. Grains and starches don't belong at the center of our diets. The value of grains is that they provide calories to people who rely on them. However, grains are not a health food. Here's what Art D. Vaney, Ph.D., author of the New Evolutionary Diet, says about grains. Oh, yes, it's that dietary staple that the USDA esteems so highly. But simply stated, our bodies are not genetically adapted to processed grains. Grains cause allergic reactions, high insulin levels, obesity, and digestive disorders. It's a great message. Maybe it'll come in the mainstream someday. Who knows? A lot of news in New York about the mayor limiting the size of drinks, and although I don't think that's the way to go, I don't think you can force people to do things. I think the message is education and taking some of these foods out of here. But I'll read this to you. When you're ordering the new Starbucks Trenta, you're not only getting a massive drink, which is 31 ounces, but extra calories, up to 600, with a potential to pack on more than 60 extra pounds in 1 year. So what people do not realize is that drinks are not necessarily an innocent way to quench your thirst, boost your energy, or satisfy the sweet tooth. Drinks are rather sneaky sources of empty calories, nutritionally depleted. Increases in sizes of food beverages proportionally distorts our perception of portion size and makes it difficult for us to respond to the body's natural cues of being hungry or thirsty or full. People will sometimes use extra cues to decide whether to eat or whether to stop eating. Cues can include the following: when others are eating, when the TV show they're watching goes to commercial, is over, or when their portion is gone. Dr. Busher says these are some of the contributing facts. Generational fact is my parents always told me to clean my plate and not to waste food. Reactional reaction would be feelings will be hurt if I don't finish what they gave me. Economically, it's such a good deal, more bang for the buck, might as well finish it. A convenience theory is that I'm in a rush and I need it now, and the emotional is extreme moods increase the chances for emotional eating. So massive amounts of foods and drinks should not be promoted to the American consumers when the majority of our population is overweight or obese. And I agree with all this, but I don't think you can really force people to do this, but it's interesting stuff. So I'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Remember to pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and my number here is 877-927-6648. I'll be back in a few minutes. I remind you that these shows are archived on TFNN.com, on iTunes, and on livingaprimallifestyle.com is where you can find the video feeds to this. I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you.
When Would you like a personal update from Tom O'Brien as to what equities he's trading and what his daily trading plan is before the market opens each morning? Every market day, Tom O'Brien sends out his daily newsletter, Market Insights, to hundreds of subscribers that rely on his daily recommendations when it comes to navigating these highly volatile markets we're dealing with. As recently as May 21st, Market Insights subscribers closed out all 5 open positions for a combined profit of over 68% in one day. Profits ranged from 6.5% to over 24%, and all of these trades had been initiated within the previous 30 days. Now is the perfect time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's explosive trading newsletter, Market Insights, an $85 value. Tom breaks down the market each morning with his market take and provides trade recommendations including precise stops and target profit zones, leaving nothing left to guessing. Log on to TFNN.com today and sign up for your 2-week free trial. Make sure you're a subscriber the next time Market Insights subscribers close out multiple winning trades. Take action and sign up for your free trial today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when temporary market spikes move against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped, and you have the advantage of keeping your trades open even when the market temporarily spikes against you. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique short-term binary options that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors. You've heard Basil Chapman on the air hosting the Tiger Technicians Hour and always wondered what's behind his powerful Chapman wave. Well, Basil has just announced a 1-day online master trader course where he'll explain his Chapman wave methodology in detail so that you can learn how to chart Basil's one-of-a-kind formation techniques in real time while the market is open. Not only do you get a full-day online master trader course with Basil during live market hours, but by signing up now, you also get a free month of his newsletter, The Opening Call, a $128 value, along with access to his Moving Averages webinar, another $99 value. This online course takes place Friday, June 8th, and will be archived so you can view it as many times as you like for 30 days following the course. Make sure you take advantage of this one-of-a-kind Master Trader course with Basil Chapman during live market hours by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and reserving your spot today. In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle here. The number is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to join the program, we have open lines right now. Reminder that my Health Signals newsletter is out, issue 11 for the year, and packed full of great stuff, so it can keep you healthy and fit. A lot of good articles in there, some nice recipes, too. Now, hunger is what determines when we eat. Hunger is really our first primal urge, I would say, and in hunter-gatherer days it also determined when or what we ate. in modern times, if you get hungry, you get modern reactions, and I've had these myself before I changed my diet, and that's reactions like feeling frantic, getting a headache, being cranky, irritable, can't think clearly, you're weak. And this really happens because your body's really not tapping into the vast stores of fat. And that's a fuel. You know, we have two types of fuel. That we can either burn fat or we can burn sugar. Your body does have that choice. So what happens is that if you're a sugar burner, you get these things. And even though you might have plenty of fuel on board in the form of fat, which is the only thing that really can be stored. You can't store sugar. It actually gets converted to fat because it's a carbohydrate. So if this happens to you, you are a sugar burner, and your body uses sugar as your primary fuel source. So if you eat a lot of carbohydrates, you just might be a fat burner. If you eat a low-fat diet, then you might be a sugar burner. If you eat if you are a vegan or a vegetarian, then you might just be a sugar burner. If you eat fast food, then you're probably a sugar burner. If you drink soft drinks or juices on a daily basis, then you're probably a sugar burner. And if the majority of your food you eat is processed in some way, then you just might be a sugar burner. You might be a redneck too, who knows? So if you are a sugar burner, you must eat often, and you must eat carbohydrates to satisfy the cravings, or you may get one of those mental or physical reactions that I was talking about, the headache, the anger, being cranky, irritable, can't think straight. And being a sugar burner really doesn't sound like a great survival mode, does it? I mean, to be at your worst when you need to hunt for food if you were a hunter and gatherer? When hungry, our hunter and gatherer ancestors had to be at their best, because they did not store their food. They ate only fresh food, and therefore they had to be alert and cunning to get their food. So fat can be stored. Sugar cannot be stored. Storage is very handy if the fuel you use can be carried around with you. We all have plenty of fat in storage. We know that. So if you're using sugar as a fuel, as your fuel, you cannot tap into your body's fat storage because insulin will not let you. What happens is when you, of course, get the carbohydrate into your system, it's a little bit of a sugar shock to your body, and your pancreas starts secreting insulin to level off the sugar levels. And again, insulin is that emergency hormone that is there for that reason, to normalize the sugar. So in the case of the odd case that you might have a sugar imbalance, that takes care of it for you. So insulin shuts down the fat processing because it's used to equalize the blood sugar. It does this by converting carbohydrates to body fat. And only carbohydrates do this. When dietary fat is used as fuel, the stored body fat is available to be used as fuel also. Okay? Now, this fat must come from animal sources, creatures that we eat, mammals and fish and fowl, shellfish. However, the fats that are in grains and vegetables are not available in the same way. Okay? They're not digested the same way, and they're not available to be used as fuel in the same way. Most likely they go to storage. So for many years, we've been told that to eat that low-fat diet. So you can see how this is contrary to what I'm talking about now. So how do you become a sugar burner, or how do you become a fat burner? That's a good question, isn't it? Okay, sugar burner naturally is, if you eat lots of carbohydrates, your body automatically becomes a sugar burner by the process of insulin converting that carbohydrate to fat. And when that's done, you can't burn fat from those storage cells because your body's getting rid of that sugar as fast as it can. It can't store it real quick, so it goes to burning it. And the interesting thing is, if you're a sugar burner, then the only time you really burn fat is when you exercise. Not real good for you because it's almost impossible to get rid of calories just by exercising. It's much better if your body does it on a continuous basis. So if you are a fat burner, this is what happens. Is you're burning fat all day long. When you exercise, your body goes into a more exercise mode and can use also the sugar stores that are in your muscles, because this is where your carbohydrates are stored inside the muscles to be used as extra energy, like kind of like a rocket booster. Very, very handy, especially if you're a primitive person running away from an animal. You need that extra boost. But in these days, too, if you're in the ghetto, in the city, if you need to run away from something, if you're active in sports like I am, then this becomes very handy because you have that great, great energy source of fat, which goes on and on and on and just doesn't quit. And then if you need that extra boost to flip somebody over or to run that 100-yard dash or whatever you need, you've got it stored in your muscles, and it's like a rocket. That's where that superhuman strength can come from. So you can see how this is very, very good to do. So for many years, we've been simply told to trust in the certain nutritional concepts that seem reasonable at face value and see if any of these things are familiar to you. Eating fat makes you fat. Common knowledge, right? Wrong. Low-carb diets are unhealthy because they have too much saturated fat. We've all been told this ever since the 1950s and 60s. Not true. Saturated fat is very dangerous to consume. Well, that's an out-and-out lie, of course, because this is what we've been eating. We've been eating animals for thousands of generations, and no problem. It's only when we switched to something to substitute for that we gained lots of problems. And the fourth one is low-fat diets will protect you against heart disease. And, of course, we know that's not true either because we're having more and more heart disease as it comes, and everybody's on this low-fat diet. The final one is carbohydrates are essential in a healthy diet. Well, we know there are three macronutrients: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And there's only two of them that are necessary, and those are the fats and the proteins. We can do very well with our carbohydrates. In fact, that many cultures do that. The Inuit people, Eskimos, people who lived through the Ice Age, and people in tropical areas do very well on carbohydrates, seasonal. I don't think this should be their staple, but some cultures do very well on it. So eating fat does not make you fat. Storing fat makes you fat, and carbohydrates play a major role in storing fat. So the level of dietary carbohydrate is really the most important factor to control because it dictates what happens to the fat. When carbohydrates are dominant and fat is passive, and when carbohydrates are low, fat tends to be burned. And when carbohydrates are high, dietary fat tends to be stored. The same holds true for the effects of saturated fat. The body handles saturated fat much better when carbohydrates are low. When you take away the unnecessary carbohydrates, you don't have to worry about saturated fat. In fact, saturated fat is very healthy in combination with a low-fat diet. It's not the other way around. If you have a high carbohydrate diet and have saturated fat, then that can be a problem. And because what you're eating is also lots of protein with that extra fat. And protein, if it's in excess, will change the carbohydrates, and then those carbohydrates are again used to store fat in your body. So if you're going to overeat anything, it should be fat. Don't overeat the carbohydrates. And the interesting thing about this whole thing is that I think the sensory perception in us, and us human beings, is pretty much the same. We get the most satisfaction from fats or the sweet stuff, the carbohydrate type of things. We get satisfaction from that. I think we get more satisfaction from the fats, because what happens with the carbohydrates, especially the modern ones like high fructose corn syrup, pretty much been established that if you go into a McDonald's and get a 32-ounce high fructose corn syrup, Coca-Cola or root beer or whatever it is, that you're going to get more hungry for the other things. If you have a small amount, you're not going to be as hungry. The larger amount of Pepsi or Coca-Cola or Sprite or whatever you have, the more hungry you're going to get. And, of course, the fast food places know this, and this is why the advent of this large 64-ounce drink came about. Don't see too many people, unless they're very, very active in a hot climate, drinking 64 ounces of anything, so even water. And so you can see how dangerous this would be, drinking something that is not water. I mean, if you drink 64 ounces of water, you'll be well hydrated, and you might go to the bathroom a lot. But if you're taking a soft drink or even for fruit juice that's really large, your body really goes into shock because of the sugar involved in it. So when you take away the unnecessary carbs, you don't have to worry about the saturated fat. So what's wrong with our modern dietary plan? Who needs to flood our bodies with sugar, with white flour, with even whole wheat flour, or potatoes, or pastas, or sugary sodas, or oatmeal, fruits, starchy vegetables? It's really not necessary, and I really call it the junk. So it all comes down to this: a high-fat diet is only healthy in tandem with is only unhealthy in tandem with a high-carbohydrate diet. Okay. Now, over the past few weeks, the Food and Drug Administration has really been in the news for its stance on antibiotic use in farm animals. Yet, instead of making good on its 1977 promise to limit these drugs in livestock, the agency is moving kind of in the opposite direction. The latest developments reveal that the FDA is actively trying to avoid protecting Americans from a known health hazard that the agency itself acknowledges. Now, in court papers filed this week, the FDA has done this. They acknowledge that scientists have long warned about antibiotic use. And in 1970, the commissioner established a scientific task force to review the use of antibiotic drugs in animal feeds. In 1972, that task force published a report, and in that report, they acknowledged the use of the antibiotics in food processing was associated with development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. So repeatedly, they confirmed the threat from antibiotics. They said it was a series of additional studies were conducted by other government agencies and also some non-government agencies during the whole spectrum of the 1960s or 70s, 80s, and 90s, all of which supported the FDA's concern regarding the public health threat posed by the antimicrobial resistance of this. And a series of additional studies were conducted by all kinds of agencies in all kinds of countries and all kinds of organizations in the 1990s. And all of these generally supported that idea. But what's really happened is in this report is that we're now hearing that we've really been getting more antibiotics in these animals. And the reason for this is that the animals are really benefiting from this because they get larger. They can eat more. So there's a lot of things going on with the FDA and the livestock industry that makes me think that they're in cahoots with each other. So this FDA thing, and I'm going to have this in my next newsletter. In December, the FDA tried to further justify its inaction by erasing historical records. And these are the records that I was talking about in 1977. So there's a lawsuit now being put onto the FDA, and the Centers of Disease Control and the World Health Organization all have been chiming in on this. And they say, well, basically, it's a big, huge problem because people are getting resistant to antibiotics because of what's happening with the feed antibiotics in these animals. Not too darn good, is it? I think I got one more segment coming up here. It's been kind of a slow show call-wise, but I hope everybody's listening and enjoying the show. Remember, I have a newsletter coming out next week, and It'll be packed full of a lot of the information that I'm talking about with links, so you can really do some of this research yourself, which I want you to do. Okay, so I've got one more segment coming up. Still time for you to give me a call at 877-927-6648, and I'll be back in a couple minutes.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you gain access to each host charts and computer screen as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, Kate Stalter, Dave White, Larry Pesavento, or Victor Jones, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV yet, then visit TFNN.com today to see what you're missing. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. It's that time of year again, and the Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway is back. Every day in June, Monday through Friday, we'll be giving away a Great Panther Silver 1-ounce silver bar, and all you have to do to enter is visit the front page of TFNN.com and fill out your entry. Great Panther Silver and TFNN wishing you a great start to the summer. Sign up today to have a chance to win a 1-ounce silver bar during the Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway the whole month of June at TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And, of course, when we talk about the butter brew here, the bulletproof coffee, which I'm drinking right now, and it's just fabulous. I thought one of my listeners was asking me about margarine. Why can't you use margarine? So I thought I'd straighten that out. Margarine was originally manufactured to fatten turkeys. When it killed the turkeys, the people who had put all the money into the research and wanted a paycheck, so they put their heads together to figure out what to do with this product to get their money back. It was a white substance with no food appeal, so they added the yellow coloring and sold it to people in the place of butter. What's the difference between butter and margarine? They both have the same amount of calories. Butter is slightly higher in saturated fat at 8 grams compared to 5 grams for margarine. Eating margarine can increase heart disease in women by 53% over eating the same amount of butter, according to Harvard medical study. Eating butter increases the absorption of many other nutrients in other foods. Butter has many nutritional benefits, whereas margarine only has a few, and only because they've been added. Butter tastes much better than margarine, and it can enhance the flavors of other foods. Butter has been around for centuries, where margarine has been around for less than 100 years. Margarine is very high in trans fatty acids, the stuff we don't like. Triples the risk of coronary heart disease. Increases total cholesterols and LDLs, that's the bad cholesterol, and lowers the so-called good cholesterol. It increases the risk of cancer up to 5 times. It lowers the quality of breast milk. It decreases our immune system. It decreases insulin response. Margarine is only one molecule away from being plastic. It shares 27 ingredients with paint. These facts alone are enough to have me avoiding margarine for life and anything else that is hydrogenated. And that means hydrogen is added, changing the molecular structure of the substance. Open a tub of margarine, leave it open in your garage or shaded area. Within a couple of days, you notice a couple of things. No flies or even those pesky fruit flies will go near it. That should tell you something. It does not rot or smell differently because it has no value. Nothing will grow in it. Even those teeny-weeny microorganisms will not find a home to grow. Why? Because it's nearly plastic. Would you melt your Tupperware and spread it on your toast? Chinese proverb: when somebody shares something of value with you, you get benefit from it. You have a moral obligation to share it with others. So please pass this on. Now, kind of an interesting article about butter versus the margarine. And, of course, I'm all about natural products and margarine. I remember the first time margarine was brought into our house, and it was white, just like the article says, and there was this little button in there that you break open, and that's where the dye was. And my mother had me kneading it, and I thought at 10 years old this was a pretty cool thing to do. Little did my mother know that she was actually helping us get sick, because bringing in this in, not only did she bring the cornflakes in, and she brought the margarine in too, and then later on the low-fat milk. I never liked any kind of milk, so it wasn't too big of a problem for me. When she no longer forced me to drink milk, I stopped drinking milk. But a lot of these things slowly started entering our homes. And I was talking in our talk last night, and that's the same thing that happened with the fast food. It so slowly started. Once a week, you'd go to the fast food as kind of a little treat, and then slowly but surely, you were going there for lunch every day. And that's how you get in the trap of eating badly. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoy the show. I'll be back next week with a brand new Health Signals newsletter. Please check out my current one, and keep on eating healthy. That's the real important part. Find out, do your own research, and check out my website at livingaprimallifestyle.com, and you'll get a lot of information about primal eating and primal lifestyle. Thanks a lot, folks. I'll see you next week.